Peace and blessings to the family. It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boxing community. Shout out to the Louisiana All American Sports Network. Shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. This is season 1, episode 18 of the Tailgate Party. And I want to give a major shout out to Old Hillside Bourbon Company. You know, they sponsoring this first segment of the Tailgate Party. And I got a special guest, my brother Big Joe Townsend. Hey, standing on LDBC business. Let them know what's good, Big Joe. Since you out here representing Old Hillside Bourbon Company, you did.
Yes, sir. We're good, everybody. What's good, everybody? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Salute to the mighty LDBC, and most importantly, salute to the Old Hillside Bourbon Company. Yes, sir. It's the holiday season for those who like to partake. You know what I mean? In some whiskey and some bourbon. You know, we have many varieties for you that we'll get into in this show. But shout out to Coach for having me on. I can't wait to give y'all a rundown about.
So, Big Joe, let them know, we know Old Hillside Bourbon Company is a black-owned company, but, give us a little bit more insight in terms of Old Hillside Bourbon Company for my members of Jaguar Nation that's not up on game. You know, they know about brands like Uncle Nears, but, let them know about Old Hillside Bourbon Company a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Old Hillside Bourbon Company was actually cultivated during COVID. You know, everybody was shut down, and then four brothers, the four founders, four brothers who are actually from North Carolina decided to get together, and it was like just like a side project that they were just working on. Hey man, I think we should start a whiskey company. Yeah, that'd be cool, and then it went from an idea to where we actually have bottles on the shelves, from all the way from North Carolina to Hawaii. So Old Hillside is actually the name of a high school in a town in North Carolina. Is actually named after one of the Black Wall Street towns. In America was named Old Hillside. So black owned business. All the founders are black and everything. So it's a one big family of people who just love, who love whiskey, who love horse racing. Our main staples in our brand is, we like to celebrate, commemorate, and bring forth information about all the black men and women who were some of the founders of horse racing, who made great strides in horse racing, and also, who created their own legacy in horse racing. So every bottle that we have signifies, the men and women, who were a part of, horse racing in America.
All right, so those individuals that rock with the channel and support me, they know you played ball, at the University of Louisville. So how, being that you from the West Coast, how did you end up connecting with the founders of Old Hillside Bourbon Company?
Yes, sir. So I played ball at Louisville, but my father, who's an OG, he went to Prairie View. You know what I mean? So shout out to the Prairie View Panthers. You think what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir. Yes,
how
sir.
I got how I got hooked up with Old Hillside was I literally during COVID I googled black owned whiskey companies. So of course you have your Uncle Nearest. Shout out to Fawn Weaver. Um she's a good mentor to us. We have her number. She's willing to give us a lot of information. She's been a great supporter of Old Hillside. So shout out to Fawn Weaver and shout out to Uncle Nearest. Yeah, I was just a fan. So I was just Googling black owned whiskey companies, and then I found Old Hillside Bourbon, and it was at the Bevmo, um, in my area. So I went to the Bevmo, got me a bottle, and I went on the Old Hillside Instagram page and said, "Hey, I bought you guys this bottle. I'm located in this city in the Bay Area. I found it at this store. I can't wait to try it." And they said, oh, "Okay, that's what's up. Where our CEO lives in the same city that you live in. You guys should connect." So I connect. what his name is Emmanuel. I connect with Emmanuel through IG, and then we exchanged phone numbers, and then there was an event coming up where Old Hillside was doing a tasting. It's called Whiskeys of the World. Pretty much a whole bunch of whiskey companies, from Old Hillside to Uncle Nearest, Jack Daniels, they all, Jim Beam, they all get together and they, have whiskey tastings for all the companies so the fans, can see, and get an idea and meet the people, meet the people behind the brand and stuff like that, get more
Uh-huh.
information. So I went to the Whiskeys of the World, met Emmanuel. We became good friends. We just built on our friendship over the years. And then Emmanuel asked me, would I be willing to join the family? So we talked about some stuff, and then now here I am, going from a customer to a family member. So yeah, I'm excited to be a part of a brand, that's not only digging up our history, bringing forth light our history, but also is there's history in every bottle that you have. So one of our slogans is "Taste the Legacy." So that's something that we're proud of to bring forth to everybody.
Yeah, and I've been checking out Old Hillside Bourbon Company since you became a part owner of it. So let the people know about the different bottles of Old Hillside Bourbon whiskey they could buy, and what's your personal favorite?
Oh man. So we have a lot of different blends. One of our blend is our like the entry level blend is our single barrels, our single barrel Kentucky bourbon. All of our bourbon is created in Kentucky, in our distilleries in Kentucky, so that's where everything is distilled at. So we have our single barrel bourbon. It's the white label, you know. That one's pretty smooth. It's a good entry level whiskey for a lot of folks who are a little curious about it but don't know, if they would like whiskey. It's a slight burn when you have a sip, but a lot of ladies like that whiskey because it's not harsh, like some other brands. So, so a lady bought a bottle and before you know it, she drunk the whole thing in 2 weeks, just sipping on a little bit every day. Before you know it, she was gone. And now, now the bottle's empty. So now she's a big fan of whiskey now. So the
Mm-hmm.
single barrels is a good entry level one, and then we have something called the Founder Select. The Founder Select, um, is our most balanced blend. So very very smooth, not much of an after bite or aftertaste when you drink it. And it's also we have that one available at Whole Foods. At Whole Foods in
All
the
right.
Bay Area. So and it's actually one of our more inexpensive bottles in person. It's only like $30, $40. So
Uh-huh.
at least the Whole Foods here is about $40. So yeah, it's very smooth. A lot of ladies like that one too because it's not as harsh. Then we have our rye. Our rye um is around, let's say, 109 or 110 proof. Very strong bite. Very strong bite, but it's smooth. I
Mm-hmm.
have some friends who are Hennessy drinkers. I I let them try the rye, and they love it. They love it better than Hennessy. You know what I mean? So
All right.
it's a little strong, but I mean, if it's special occasion, let's say you're smoking a darker leaf cigar, perfect pairing for that. So you know, to me, the rye, I like the rye for sure. I like my whiskey a little strong. And then we have something called the trifecta blend. The trifecta blend is pretty much a blend of the rye, the single barrel, and the Founder Select all in one bottle. They had an idea to mix them all up and throw them in there, and it came out very, very delicious. A lot of ladies like the single barrel, but they also love the trifecta. And all
Okay.
the tastings that I've done, all the women love the trifecta. Now the trifecta, that's real hard to get. It's only available online at oldhillsidebourboncompany.com if there's any left. Last I looked, we had just a couple bottles left. So um that one seems to be a favorite amongst the customers. So and then we have some other special limited edition ones on the website. There's one of them called the Oliver Lewis bottle, which is about, I think, 115 proof. I tasted
Ooh.
that one. I tasted that one, bruh. That one's smoother than the rye. very smooth. You know what I mean? It has a little kick, but it's very smooth. But it's a limited edition. It only made like 150 to 200 bottles, so you only
Okay,
can get it on
okay.
the website. You know, so yeah, those are the ones that we have now. We have one tucked in the chamber that we're gonna be coming out soon. I don't know if I can speak on it yet, but you know, this bottle we have coming out soon is gonna be a tribute to the Harlem Hellfighters. You know what I mean? So that's the tribute we're gonna be doing for the next bottle coming up. So stay tuned. I'll let y'all know about that when I can you know, speak on such things. So,
All right, all right. So, for all my listeners, for all the HBCU family members, all the Jaguar Nation, during this holiday season, we want y'all to go get a bottle of Old Hillside bourbon whiskey, whatever Big Joe described in terms of what you think would be the best fit for you. Go out and get a bottle of Old Hillside bourbon. In fact, let them know one more time, Big Joe. And since I got you on, you played Louisville, Pop played at PV. I want to ask you a couple
mhm.
questions, but give your last plug for Old Hillside bourbon before I ask you a couple questions.
For sure, yeah. And again, shout out to Coach for letting me come on this platform. But yeah, again, Old Hillside Bourbon, all our bourbon is distilled in Kentucky. You know, we're available online at Old Hillside Bourbon Company, Old Hillside Bourbon Company, and at Old Hillside Bourbon Company. As far as the states that it's available in North Carolina. We're now available in West Virginia. We are now available in Alabama. We're we are available in California, and we're also available in Hawaii in stores. We're available at Bevmo's and Total Wine and More's, you know, in the states that I mentioned. But you can always order online at Old Hillside Bourbon Company. Shipping's very fast. It should take a couple of days. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let Coach know what y'all think. I'm interested to see, but I believe you guys won't be disappointed. Some people say it's the smoothest thing they ever tasted. We've had bartenders, you know, who they have hundreds of drinks on the shelf, 100 whiskey brands on the shelf, and they say, "Oh, Hillside is if not the, but one of their favorites." So give us a try if you have any questions. Um, reach out to Coach, and then I will. You guys can reach out to me. So again, Old Hillside Bourbon Company, Old Hillside Bourbon Company.
In fact, now that you brought that up, Big Joe, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I think next year for Southern University homecoming, we're gonna set up a booth. We're gonna do a tasting. We gotta do something, man. You know what I'm saying? Old Hillside Bourbon Company, I'm rocking with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to purchase a bottle for the holiday season. I'm gonna post it on my channel just so everybody could know. But since I got you on here, big time college. I'm sorry, big time high school football player in the Bay Area. My former roommate at Southern went to Pinole Valley High School. Shout out to him if he's listening. But you big time high school football player in the Bay. You committed to a couple different universities. You played for Louisville. Pops actually went to PV. So, what you
Mhm.
thought about the Celebration Bowl this past Saturday?
Oh man, the one thing about football, regarding what level it is from high school all the way to the pros, can you weather the storm? So you can be you can be doing your thing and be up 21-0, but you have to keep calling the plays that got you to 21-0. No need to start doing reverses, flea flickers. No need to start doing nothing. No need to start doing nothing outside of yourself that didn't get you to be from 21-0. Well, okay, you ran a play, it didn't work. Now you have to weather the storm of the other team coming back. Now it's all about, can you calm your team down? Okay, let's get back to playing PV ball and let's do what we do. And they did that. They ran down, they scored pretty easily on some drives and looked like they were in control. But when you have given somebody the opportunity to think that they can win or feel like we can do this, that's a little hard to take that spirit away from somebody when you've given them life. Well, if it's by running a illegitimate play or by not kicking a field goal, not making a field goal to win the game. So it was heartbreaking. My pops was upset, that PV lost, but you know I believe the quarterback was the backup quarterback, right? He was a
No,
backup that came in.
well, actually, Cameron Peters, I think he's more the legitimate starter in my personal opinion. Then I played two
Okay.
quarterbacks all season, but I think Cameron
Okay.
Peters is your legit guy. You know what I'm saying? And now that
Okay.
we got you on here, we always talk about the way HBCUs do business in comparison to PWIs. And
Mm-hmm.
you and I talked about on my brother Jared Loving Green channel. Y'all be certain to go check him out. We talked about Ed Reed and the whole fiasco with Bethune Cookman. You and I had like opposing points of view, and basically, I've always been saying that a lot of HBCUs need to get out the way in terms of the way they do business, the good old boy network,
Mm-hmm.
nepotism, favoritism, this type of thing. And Southern University has kind of gotten away from hiring all of those coaches that either A, played for Pete Richardson, or B, coached under Pete Richardson. What do you think of
Right.
Southern University hiring Marshall Faulk as their 22nd head coach?
I know Marshall Faulk was your guy. You say if you're going to have a new coach, you will want Marshall Faulk to be there. Um, my mindset has always been if you want to make changes, you got to do something different. Well, if it comes to recruiting, coaching, or whatnot, So I know Southern has had a rough several couple years, and if you want to make a big splash or get the fans excited, you got to do something different. And so, hence they bring on Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk is a Hall of Fame player, one of the best running backs that ever played. He had a year under Deion Sanders, to understand what it's like, to be a coach and everything. Now it's gonna be interesting to see, can Marshall Faulk be a leader? So I know he was a captain when he played in the league, so hopefully he's a great coach to where he can be a leader of men. So some may say, man, I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Well, some folks say the same thing about Deshaun Jackson. And he had a phenomenal season, and now a lot of other schools like Sacramento State is trying to pull Deshaun Jackson from his current position. But then also some folks can say, well, look at Mike Vick. Michael Vick had a bad season this year. Like, well, Michael Vick is at an institution to where it's going to be hard to win, but he decided to take on the job anyway. So it could go either way. But I think Marshall Faulk, he has a wealth of knowledge that he gained from not only playing, studying, but also coaching the game, for a year. So I think he would. I know he talked about doing this and during COVID, like in 20 and 21. So they loop back around, and I hope he's successful. So I think it's a great hire. It brings a jolt of energy into the program. You're going to get a lot of different recruits that want to go there and just play for Marshall Faulk. Like I said on the Brother Jared 11 Green show, um, if I was a recruit and Warren Sapp could be my D line coach, hell yeah, I'm going to Colorado. You know what I mean? Or if Reggie White was the D line coach at Grambling, hell yeah, I'm going to Grambling because Reggie White is there. So
Uh-huh.
that's kind of where we're at right now when it comes to the recruiting. But I think that's a great hire.
Yeah, you cut off for a little bit. You say it was a great hire. And what else,
Oh,
Big Joe?
my my bad. I said I believe that's a great hire for you guys. You guys should have a lot of success.
All right. Now, for all of those like naysayers and critics that say Southern should have hired more of a proven head coach, like the individual that won the Celebration Bowl on Saturday, Kenneth Berry, who's a former assistant coach at Southern under Pete Richardson, or North Carolina Central head coach Trey Oliver, who also coached under Pete Richardson. Uh, what do you think about the members of Jaguar Nation that feel Southern should have went with more of a proven coach as opposed to Marshall Faulk? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you've had a proven coach for the past several years, and that didn't get y'all anywhere either. You know what I mean? So, there's no written formula on as far as what kind of coach will lead you to success. A lot of folks felt that Sean McVay was too young to be a head coach, and the Rams won a national championship. A lot of folks wasn't big on Stefanski as being a leader of men for the Eagles, and I'm sorry, not Stefanski. What's the coach for the Eagles? I forgot his name. Uh,
Oh,
anyways,
I know you talking, but I can't think his name is on the tip of my
yeah,
tongue.
yeah. So the coach of the Eagles, a lot of folks weren't too big on him,
Uh huh.
and then he got in there, and then they went to 3 Super Bowls and won 2. So I always feel that, there's a lot of players who can be leaders of men. There's a lot of players, again, when you play in the NFL, you have to have a high football IQ. So Marshall Faulk is a Hall of Fame player. From my understanding, I met him before. He's a great guy, and even the running backs raved about him at Colorado, how he's not only a great man, but he's also a great coach to build up these young, these young boys to young men. So there's no real recipe on what can get you as a coach. But again, I'll use Deshaun Jackson as an example. Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun Jackson has a history of run-ins that he's had. Deshaun Jackson, from the West Coast. I met Deshaun Jackson before, great dude. A lot of folks wasn't high on him being a leader of men. But the fact that he went through things makes him a perfect leader of men, because now he tells these guys what not to do, and he play at the highest level. So you get two of both worlds. So I understand why some folks may not feel like Marshall Faulk could be a good guy, but you've had a proven guy before,
Well,
and now
well,
you
I'm
got
not gonna
Marshall
lie.
Faulk.
Hold up. Let me give a little caveat to that. Now, I'm
Okay.
gonna get to the chat in a minute. Like my guy Blackwater Bayou, met him at the first home game this season when Southern played against Alabama State. He was the first person to say, "Coach, them hiring Terrence Graves is a terrible idea." He was a terrible defensive coordinator at Southern. He was a
Right.
terrible assistant under Pete Richardson. So even though he went to the SWAC championship last year, he lost. So, people like Blackwater Bayou was like, nah, coach, he wasn't really a proven head coach. But I understand the premise behind what you're saying, and I
Right.
agree. But, basically, a lot of members of Jaguar Nation, like Blackwater Bayou, they were not high on Terrence Graves being hired. And honestly, they weren't high on Eric Dooley either prior to that, But
Mm.
I think the board, just because both of them coached under Pete Richardson, they wanted somebody from that Coach Richardson coaching tree, like, kind of like Bill Walsh, At one point, so many people
Right.
wanted guys from the Bill Walsh coaching tree. They wanted guys from the Bill Belichick coaching tree, same type of thing. So even with the Belichick thing, a lot of those guys didn't work
Mm.
out, and it's kind of the same thing. So that's why Jaguar Nation wanted
Right.
uh, the board to go in a different direction in terms of, just these guys that coached the played under Pete Richardson. That's why a lot of members are happy that they just basically went in a different direction.
Right. What's the overall pulse of the Jaguar Nation when it comes to Marshall Faulk?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on what platform you go on. Like somebody like Scotty off script, salute to him. They were kind of negative on his platform. Whereas on my platform, I think overall, I think it's kind of been positive. But I think more than anything, people was kind of looking at like what type of hires he would hire. Like, for example, he hired Donald Penn as his offensive line coach. So basically, he done brought in some high profile coaches. He been get commits from high profile players already in terms of
Yeah.
reaching out to
Yeah.
those type of guys. So I think overall, I think a lot of people have a wait and see approach. But overall, I
Yeah.
think the perspective and point of view is that of a positive one from the perspective of like, hey, you got high profile coaches that's on his assistant coaches, and not only that, but he went to the state championship this weekend. Edna Carr played against St. All, two historical black, powerhouse
Hmm.
hot powers in the state of Louisiana. Of course, Carr won again. Carr is like a machine, on the West Bank of New Orleans over there in Algiers. And basically, he done already got like some elite level recruits in terms of, players that's interested in coming to Southern and players that potentially have committed. So at the end of the day, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I think overall, I think on my platform it's been a lot of positivity. Whereas if you go to other HBCU platforms, it's not as much so. And then in addition to that,
Right.
like some of the OG HBCU coaches, basically their perspective is like they had to kind of like my channel, they had to kind of get it out the mud, and they had to kind of take like lower level HBCU jobs, and they had to kind of gradually work their way up. You know, it's not so much the fact that they've been disrespecting Marshall Faulk, but they kind of feel like, I guess, when it comes to taking bum jobs and living in a dorm as opposed to having your
Right.
own house or whatever, he didn't have to get it out the
Right.
mud like some of the other
Right.
HBCU coaches back in the day
Right.
paid dues. Just to kind of use an analogy, like a lot of professional wrestlers, my uncle, he still watches
Right.
wrestling. If you got a wrestler that started from like the indie circuit and worked their way up to being in
Right.
the WWE, it's different
Right.
for somebody like uh, Logan Paul, who had to basically become a YouTube sensation, and he didn't have to pay the dues that a lot of wrestlers had to, pay, coming up through the ranks or whatever. So at the end of the day, I mean, I think overall, I think it's been positive, and he's had
Mhm.
a lot of, you know, support from Jaguar Nation. And I think more than anything, it's gonna be interesting to see. I think my biggest thing is just like on the other side of town, a lot of members of Tiger Nation, they got like high expectations for Lane Kiffin. It's kind of almost playoffs and bust almost already. And I want Jaguar Nation to kind of, even though he bringing in a lot of high profile transfers from PWIs out the port or whatever the case may be, or even elite
Mhm.
level high school players. I think we need to temper our expectations. Our expectations
Right.
shouldn't be, hey, Pete Richardson won a SWAC championship his first season at Southern. Marshall Faulk should do the same.
Right.
I'm like, I mean, this team
Right.
was pretty much historically bad. You kind of want. I say if they win 7 wins, if they get 7 wins next year, I think that'll be positive. But you're gonna
Okay.
always have members of Jaguar Nation. It's like it's championship or bust. We hadn't won a SWAC championship since 2013. Haven't
Oh
been to a
man.
celebration bowl. So that's what some of them might expect. Like, hey, we got a high profile guy in here. You saw what Deshaun Jackson did this year. Hey, we expect big
Mhm.
things. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So, I mean, that's pretty much, what some people gonna expect. But I think overall it's kind of been positive, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's good. Yeah, I can understand how some of the older coaches feel like, I had to do this and do this and do this just to get an opportunity, and they're kind of just plugging this guy in, without having to put in much work. So I definitely can understand that as a coach. I believe I forgot what head coach was it. Some coach, one of the coaches in the NFL. I don't know if it was Daniels or one of them. They literally started out, you literally cutting film, in the scouting room, just cutting film, and they went from cutting film and now they're an NFL coach. So yeah, there's a lot of folks who work their way up the ranks. But now we're seeing I guess you say a new breed of coach where you have a lot of
Celebrity
these former
coaches.
players.
Yeah, celebrity
Well,
coaches.
hell, well, even like a lot of folks felt some kind of way about Antonio Pierce with the Raiders. So I thought Antonio Pierce did a great job of what he had to work with. He had a better year last year than he did this year, and they got Pete Carroll. So you
Yeah.
just have a lot of former players, who are now interested in coaching, got the coaching bug, and want to go out there, because they can actually relate and talk to the players because they played it in all levels and played it at a high level. So, but I get how some people can feel like, oh, they're just skipping the line because they played in the NFL. So I get that for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Without question. And I think that's another thing too, I think when it comes to kind of like Jaguar Nation, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand like some of the OG coaches kind of, having frustration, the fact that they feel like a lot of these celebrity coaches, it started with Deion Sanders. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, somebody like Pete Richardson, he actually played in the NFL too. But you haven't seen, I think Deion Sanders kind of was like the first high profile coach that really
Right.
kind of say, hey, I want coach or whatever. And for the most part, it's
Right.
kind of been a trickle down effect. So I kind of see both sides of it. But at the same token, I think at the end of the day, whatever you feel like is going to make your program successful and get you to where you need to be, I'm
Right.
all for it. I think more than anything, I think they just kind of need to have the contingency plan in place in terms of having all the ancillary things around Marshall Faulk in terms of,
Right.
he's bringing in some good coaches in terms of his coaching staff. They need to get an NIL collective. Uh, in addition to that, I think you need to have your heir apparent coach on staff, whether it's a coach that was an interim like Fred McNair or whether it's more of a young and upcoming coach. Either way, I think you need to have your next coach in place for when Marshall Faulk does have success. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing I think about is I know the a lot of these coaches, like you said, like Michael Vick and Dion, Eddie George, and now Marshall Faulk consider a celebrity coach. But I would just say this, it's I know coaches have an insight on the game from the X and O's and looking at a standpoint, but when you have somebody who actually played a lot of years at the highest level, that insight is something that is really hard to find. So when you have somebody who know what it's like to go through double days and know what it's like to persevere, know what it's like to go through, are you injured or are you hurt? Know what it's like to be on a winning team and actually win a championship. Marshall Faulk has was a part of the greatest show on turf, from the greatest offense we've ever seen, and he's won Super Bowls, and he's a Hall of Famer. So not just the insight that he knows, but just the fact that he played and the football knowledge, because he has to study the game. He has to know what defense, or has to read defenses and whatnot. So he has a high IQ and high knowledge of the game. So just that insight, you have coaches, who coach, who probably play at a certain level. When you get a guy who play at the highest level, everybody at that level is up there for a reason. They all dedicated. They all know what it's like to have to be a unit. They know what a locker room atmosphere is supposed to be like too. And they know how a program is supposed to run. So, and I think that a lot of people feel like when you get former players who were at big schools and at the NFL and they come to HBCUs, they have like they say, they have a filet mignon diet, but they on a smaller budget,
Yeah, beer
so, and
budget.
they have
Yeah.
higher, yeah, so they have higher dreams of how things supposed to look, but and they probably can't execute that due to financial reasons, but they know what that looks like.
Uh-huh.
If you know what it's like to hold a Lombardi trophy, then you can conserve that, and then you can bottle it up and give it to your players and let them know, hey, I know how you feel, I know how you see it. Let me show you how you supposed to do and how to get it done. Let me show you how much extra work you need to put in to be successful, because I didn't done it. So something about somebody who's done it before speaks volumes as well. So,
Yeah,
that's just
and
kind of how I look at it.
a lot of people have been, talking about him being extremely intelligent. Not only
Yeah.
during his playing days in the NFL, but also in terms of his analysis on the NFL Network. Do you think that's going to really transfer over to him being a head coach at Southern?
It will all depend on the coaching staff he has around him, and it all can depend on if he can be a leader of men. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't be a leader of men, then you're not gonna be able to have the team follow you. Your cachet is only gonna carry you for so long. A lot
Hmm.
of folks say Mike Daniels is an intelligent head coach, super intelligent. A lot of folks feel like he's not a leader of men, but I never heard anything about Marshall Faulk not being able to lead. Again, he's been a captain, on an NFL team. So if you're a captain on an NFL team, you have 50 plus guys of all different backgrounds, all different cultures and creeds. We have to get on one accord to be successful, and he's done that. So I don't think you'll have any problem, getting the college his college team to lead him. So I'm not worried about that at all.
All right. And one other thing too, I kind of, we kind of been talking about Jay Good and I behind the scenes. Salute to Jay Good and salute to my people in the chat. A couple of them thought you and Jay Good were the same person. But
Yeah, yeah,
anyway,
yeah. Shit. And me and Jay Good, low key twins. Like if you light skin with a beard, I mean, y'all look alike. So.
but anyway, Jay Good being, playing in Southern or whatever. Basically, he and I talk about in terms of like gradually over the years, the brain has eroded. Uh, in
Mm.
terms of, Scotty, who has like one of the biggest platforms in the space. Basically, he didn't see all the hype behind Southern. And last year, he and I met at Southern's homecoming or whatever. And I made the analogy to him. And so, so he could connect the dots to see what it was. Basically, Southern and Dallas, Dallas Cowboys were like kind of concurrent in terms of their dominance in the 90s. And he didn't understand it until I made that analogy to him. So basically, now he was like, if you're a Cowboys fan and you saw Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin back in the gap. Like basically that was the NFL comparison to him to connect the dots or whatever. So in terms of now that you hired Marshall Faulk and you're trying to move in a different direction, how do you think Southern should go about rebuilding their brand, to a newer generation of fans that really don't know the success they had back in the 90s?
Hmm. Well, the best way to rebrand your brand is to bring up the legacy and the standard at Southern. You start off with the foundation of this is who Southern is. There's our legacy. We've done this, this, and this, and won this, and we need to get back to that standard. The standard is a standard. Nothing below it. Everything above it. The standard is a standard. So once you do that, start getting some endorsements, advertisements. Maybe a new facility, new this, new that. Kind of what Dion did at Jackson State.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think it shouldn't have any problem, bringing the brand back to the forefront, but as long as it stays to the core values of what the university holds and what the standard is. Now, if he goes in there and tries to, fugazi it up, then I can see how, like, man, I don't know about this, but I believe and Marshall Faulk is from Louisiana, so he's well versed about the HBCU history and the importance of HBCU. So
Hmm.
I don't think he's gonna come in there with a mindset of I'm gonna make this like San Diego State. I think he's gonna go into the mindset of the standard is the standard. This is the legacy of Southern that we all need to adhere by. Now let's build it up and bring it back to the forefront. So I think that'll be the proper way to not only uphold the legacy, but also rebrand Southern and also get it back to a winning culture. So to bring it back to a winning culture is setting a standard. So that's the best way to go about
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the thing about it. I think the last couple of coaches, Terrence Graves, Eric Dooley, Southern
it.
had won a SWAC championship since 2013. Like, we had this conversation uh a handful of months back in terms of HBCU Blue Bloods, and Southern is one of the elite level HBCUs, but the brand has dipped both on and off the field. So we talked about in terms of the
Yeah.
the off the field aspect of it. On the field, what you think, in terms of besides just getting elite level players and you know grooming and developing players and getting them to the apex in terms of on the field, what type of identity and how you think he should go about rebuilding the brand on the field?
You mean like per player or just as the school overall?
Oh, both.
On the field, you gotta get back to what the identity is at Southern. Are you guys a running school or you're a passing school? We know the identity of the Steelers has always been hard nosed football, hard nosed defense. Same thing with the Ravens. They're known for having hard nosed defense. Whatever Southern is known for, they need to get back to that identity.
Hmm.
But knowing Marshall Faulk, again, he played at a high level. He was one of the first pass catching, running backs out there, so I believe he's gonna open up the offense to where the identity of the program will be just to win by any means.
Hmm.
So if we have to run the ball, we're gonna run the ball down your throat. If we need to pass the ball, we're gonna air it out and it's gonna look like bombs over Baghdad over here.
Hmm.
So because again Marshall he played again with the greatest show on turf
Doing
where they
turf,
ran
yep.
the ball and they threw and I mean and they threw the ball. So you had Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, they was eating.
Isaac
They
Hakeem.
was getting. So
Yeah, yeah,
all those
yeah.
guys they was eating. And but again, Marshall Faulk was getting his run and getting his numbers too. I
Uh-huh.
believe that's going to be the way he's going to be able to bring Southern back to the forefront because he has been on the offense to where he knows how everybody can. Long story short,
Uh-huh.
well balanced, hard nosed football. See now, back when Marshall played, they played literally on turf. They had sneakers on when they was playing. So when you fell on the floor, you fell on concrete to a degree.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you know what I mean. So it wasn't no grass, it wasn't no the new turf now with the rubber. It was literally just like some carpet on concrete, and that's what he played on. So he gonna bring some hard nosed football. And he's gonna bring a well balanced offense. And that's gonna be the new identity of Southern.
Yeah, because you say what they have been synonymous for in the past. Basically, I think most elite level HBCUs, you got to have an elite level quarterback first. You got to have
Hmm.
a very good defense, and you got to be able to, line up and punch people in the mouth, run the ball.
Yeah.
You know, some teams have deviated for that, but for the most part, that's kind of been an identity over the years. If you look at Southern back in the gap, or even if you look at a team like Jackson State last year,
Yeah.
that's kind of been the things you need to do. You got to play good defense. You got to have an elite level quarterback, and you got to be able to run the
Yeah,
ball. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I mean, you gotta get you an Aaron Donald.
Oh
You
yeah,
gotta
yeah, yeah. I
get
mean,
you gotta yeah, you know what I mean? You gotta get you an Aaron Donald, you gotta get you a Bobby Wagner, you know what I mean? You gotta get you players, who's gonna you gotta get you key players, but also he's building a program. So he's gonna get guys in there, but like I've said on Jared's show, and we talked about this. Let's see if he can actually develop players. The biggest thing about coaching is not only recruiting, but you also have to develop the talent. If he can develop the talent, selling is gonna be great, but um you got to get players who's gonna want to develop and want to get better as well, especially when this new era of NIL, where everybody, some players are just getting the check and they're staying consistent and they're staying where they're at and they're not elevating, but again, Marshall has seen what development is like at the highest level to what people believe when you go to the NFL, ain't too much coaching going on. You have low key have to develop yourself in the off season, so
hmm
he knows what it's like to from when Marshall Faulk was a rookie to when Marshall Faulk was playing and the game was slowing down. So he knows what that looks like. So when the game starts slowing down for you, what I mean, you can make things easy for you. So I think with him having that experience before, he'll be able to get guys to understand what needs to be done on and off the field, whether it's in the playbook a little more on the offense, understand the offense more. Maybe as a wide receiver or running back, need to hit the jug machine some more, 100 catches, 200 catches a day, or maybe need to get some more weight room sessions in because we need to get stronger. We need to beef up so we can run this ball. So he know what that look like. So he gonna bring all those tangibles in there. It'll be interesting to see if the players are receptive to that change. Because for example, my last year at Louisville, I had Coach Strong. Coach
Uh-huh.
Strong is a lot
Charlie
different
Strong,
than my
yes, sir.
first. Coach Strong is a lot different than my first coach, Coach Crackthorpe. Rest in peace. When Coach Strong came in there, it was my way or the highway. This is how we doing things. If you don't like it, there's the dough right there. Charlie Strong brought in not only an attitude, but he brought in worth ethic. And the coaches that he brought in had no problem calling you out on your bull crap. My D line coach, Coach Hurt, is not a D line coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. You dig what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
strength and conditioning coach that I had, I believe he's coaching in the NFL too. You know what I mean? So Charlie Strong right now, he's a D line coach at the Buccaneers. You know what
hmm
I mean? So he brought in coaches that will be literally on you every day and will tell you, you're a scholarship player. You suck today. I should give you a scholarship to that walk on in front of everybody. I mean, all that kind of
Ooh.
stuff hurt your feelings. Now, are you gonna play better? Are you gonna grow up? Or are you gonna lose your spot? When you bring in an atmosphere that breeds in competition, you have no choice but to change, or you're gonna get left behind. And that's what football's all about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I'm not gonna lie, Big Joe. I appreciate your time. I appreciate Old Hillside Bourbon Company. Everybody out there, let them know one last time where they can check out Old Hillside Bourbon Company before I jump into the comment section.
Yes, sir. Salute to everybody. Appreciate Coach for having me on this platform. It's a holiday season. If you want to indulge in a little beverage, please check us out. OldHillsideBourbonCompany.com. 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 If you're in North Carolina, we are in stores. If you live in West Virginia, we are in stores. If you are in Alabama, we are in the stores. If you live in California like I do, we are in stores, and if you're listening and you're in Hawaii, we are in stores. We're available at Total Wine and More in Bevmo. But if we don't have anything in your area, and I am tripping. We're also available in Kentucky. Duh, that's where our distillery's at. So if you're in, if you're in Kentucky, we're available there as well. So Total Wine and More, Bevmo. If we don't have nothing in the state, oldhillsidebourboncompany.com. Check us out.
Already, man. I appreciate you, Big Joe. Old Hillside Bourbon Company. Y'all get y'all a bottle. And fella, I'm gonna get me a bottle. I'm not a drinker, but I got cousins that drink. Hey, I'm gonna post it on this
Uh,
channel, the whole nine. Hey, we gonna come back with a reaction review, whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Like you said, Coach, perfect gifts. If you don't drink, you can give it to somebody. Because not
Yep,
only
yep.
Are you supporting the black-owned businesses? You're supporting a black-owned business that's upholding black excellence and black legacy. Again, hence every bottle that we produce is attributed to all the black men and women who was a part of the horse racing, as far as the Kentucky Derby, and stuff like that. So again, our bottle is pretty much our slogan is taste the excellence and taste the legacy, and that's what you're buying when you buy a bottle of Old Hillside.
And I mean that's an excellent point because Uncle Nears has elevated to a company that's worth $1 billion, and we trying to get Old Hillside Bourbon Company to the exact same level. So y'all be certain to go out for this holiday season and buy you a bottle of Old Hillside Bourbon. Man, I appreciate you, Big Joe. And we gonna rock with y'all, Old Hillside Bourbon Company. We gonna rock with y'all. We gonna rock with y'all. Salute to you, Big Joe.
All right, appreciate it, Coach. I'm gonna slide out. I appreciate y'all. Salute to the chat. Hey, hey. Salute to the greatest university that Coach always says, the Mighty
The
Jaguars.
Southern
Salute to y'all.
University, home of the mighty
The Southern.
Jaguars. You did.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
appreciate you, Big Joe. Appreciate Old Hillside. Let me slide in the comment section. Sonic Boom
All right, peace.
C98 say we will be fine. Not worried at all. When you're the headliner, people come for your talent. I'm not gonna lie, Sonic Boom C98. The fact that they got a lot of Jackson State players in the transfer portal, I don't think it's a reflection on Jackson State. I don't think it's a reflection on head coach T.C. Taylor. I think it's more of a reflection of the day and time that we live in. I talked about it a little bit on Saturday. I don't think it's a reflection because, people are like, hey, what's going on with T.C. Taylor and Jackson State? They got 17 players in the transfer portal. I don't think it's an issue of T.C. Taylor or Jackson State as a university institution. I think it's just it's just more of a reflection of the day and time we living in. But salute to Sonic Boom C98. To the family, relax and calm. Randy say salute. Coach 67, check HBCU family and Jaguar Nation. And then go Jags. Motivation to be a millionaire say salute Coach 67, check HBCU family and Jaguar Nation. Salute to your motivation to be a millionaire. He also put go Jags. Man, salute to Russell Smith. He say salute to you, Coach, and Jaguar Nation. Salute to your family. Your boy Jay say salute, Coach, and go Jags. Yes, sir. Salute to your boy Jay. Salute to the family. Kendrick Wicker, 8828. He said, "What up, Jags?" He said, "Look like recruiting is gonna go well. They offered Sandow quarterback. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. Coach Faulk has hit the ground running. I'm kind of happy things are trending in the right direction for Jaguar Nation. It's Wu Zai baby. He said, what? Okay. Your boy Jay said Coach Falk has hit his first commit. Champ Davis, all-state wide receiver. He picked Southern and Coach Falk over Nebraska and another FBS school. Man, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, that's what I say. I mean, Coach Falk is getting this era off to a good start. Man, salute to my brother Blackwater Bayou. He said salute, Coach, and chat. Your boy Jay said 2 Colorado coaches have followed Coach Falk. Miss Alex Ellis, she worked with Dion at Jackson State and Colorado, and Coach Josh Covington. He was a offensive analyst for Deion Sanders. All right, all right. So your boy Jay coming in with intel already. Your boy Jay say rumor has it. Ricky Collins. Woo! Ricky Collins is one of these elite quarterbacks Coach Falk is bringing with him. Former 4-star from Syracuse and LSU. Yes, I remember Ricky Collins. I'm not even gonna lie. At one point, I talked about Ricky Collins, but I didn't ever think Southern was gonna actually get him. But if they could bring Ricky Collins, man, I'm not gonna lie, that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick Wicker said Collins just transferred to Syracuse. Well, I ain't gonna lie. Kendrick Wicker. I mean, I know he just transferred to Syracuse, but we see it with Jackson State. It's to the point now where just because you go somewhere, that don't mean you're gonna stay at that place. So I mean, I could see it. Hopefully that's the case. Man, salute to my brother Jay Good. Salute to your fam. Your boy Jay said also Coach Faulk contract is $400K, and he has a assistant pool of $950K. Okay. Uh, let's see how many assistant coaches he could squeeze out of that. Russell Kidd said Collins transferred last year. That would be a great pickup for SU. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. you know, I said this at one point. Had it been like back in the '90s, Ricky Collins might have considered transferring to Southern, but if we could get him now, I'll definitely take him. So your boy Jay says, so expect some high-level coaches following him. Like I said a few weeks ago, 950K pool for assistant is huge. Yeah. Blackwater Bayou said, I love the hire. We should have hired Marshall Faulk 4 years ago. Yeah, you and your boy Jay, we talked about this before. Of course, the reason why they didn't hire him then was because of the NFL network scandal. I think more than anything, I don't think they got cold feet. And I'm not gonna lie, the Eric Dooley hire was bad. And not only the Eric Dooley hire, but the Terrence Grave hire, both of those hires were bad and it didn't work out. But things are looking up. Your boy J.C. Ricky Collins was rumored to come to Southern last year, but it fell through. I think Coach Faulk being here is the reason he's coming. Who wouldn't want to play for a former NFL Hall of Famer? I agree. Russell Smith said, I'm feeling good about what I'm hearing about Coach Faulk and recruiting. He is already ahead of Graves in my book. Yeah, without question. In terms of definitely from a recruit standpoint, I say he is light years ahead of what Terrence Graves was doing. You know what I'm saying? Blackwater Bayou said Dooley and Graves should have never been a head coach at SU. They were trash position coaches. Yeah, big facts. And I was telling this to Jay Good. Let me saying Jay Good, God dog it. To my brother Big Joe Townsend, Mr. LDBC business, Mr. Old Hillside. Hey. He I was telling him that like you was the first person on my channel to say, man, hey, this was a terrible hire. And I'm not gonna lie, at the time I was like, well, let's have like a wait and see approach. I'm like, let's just give it a little time. Let's have a wait and see approach. Blackwater Bayou was like, no, coach. He was terrible under Pete Richardson. he was terrible under Pete Richardson. This dude was a trash head coach, man. And I'm not gonna lie, Blackwater Bayou said that then. So, man, just shout out to Blackwater Bayou. He was the first one on this channel. Like, he wasn't the only one, but he definitely was the first one, like, in mass and volume, but like, nah, coach, this was a terrible hire. And he was adamant about it. He was boisterous about it. He let it be known, like, man, Southern shouldn't have hired this dude. This dude was trash. So he said that off the bat, Russell Smith said, I agree, Blackwater Bayou. Yeah, without question. Big facts. Your boy Jay said, it's only been a week and a half, and Coach Faulk has done so much already. Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Russell Smith said, Dooley was trash at PV. I don't know what SU was thinking hiring him. And this was my whole issue, Russell Smith. I mean, I know, hindsight is always 2020, but this was my issue. You didn't want to give Dawson Odoms the extra 40K, and you let him walk and you let him go to Norfolk State. Cool. You make Jason Rollins, who's your defensive coordinator, your interim head coach, instead of hiring Marshall Faulk, because like I said, the NFL network scandal broke. So you pivot and you go to Eric Dooley, and you give Eric Dooley $100,000 more than you gave Dawson Odoms. And the irony is, Eric Dooley could never beat Dawson Odoms. Eric Dooley did not beat Dawson Odoms head to head. So you mean to tell me you gave a lesser coach, instead of giving Dawson Odoms 40K, you went to Jason Rollins, and then you turn around, you go to Eric Dooley, and you give him $100,000 more than you was giving Dawson Odoms at the time. And then in totality, and ended up being 60K more than you would have gave Dawson Knox. That was stupid to me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I didn't like the way that whole situation played out, but I think Southern is in a better situation now, and I'm just hoping for the best, and I think it's gonna work out with Marshall Faulk. Uh, your boy Jay said Coach Faulk is bringing player in high quality players off his name alone. Southern will be competing next year. This is not a rebuild. I hope not, but I won't be cautiously optimistic though. Your boy Jay, you know, I still got to kind of wait and see approach. Blackwater Bayou say Southern literally fired Dooley and Terrence Graves twice. Yeah, big facts. Man, my brother Cassio Odell, he said, "What's up, coach?" Man, salute to you, Cassio Odell. Another individual I talked a lot behind the scenes. Man, salute to you, Cassio Odell. Happy holidays. Salute to you, fam. Your boy Jay said Coach Falk offered over 30 players the past 2 days. This man is working. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad he putting in work. I'm glad he earned his stripes. Joseph Davis said, how much do you think the OC and DC under Falk will make? Your boy Jay answered it for me. He said 150 to 200K, Joseph David. Yeah, I mean, I think that's some good cheese. Hopefully he could pretty much handpick the offensive or defensive coordinator. The offensive and defensive coordinator he wants. Uh, we talked about the offensive line coach already. So I think he moving in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? U.S. Marine Corps 95, salute to you. He said our players are leaving because our coaching is not up to par. TC is a decent head coach. I just feel he lacks having a competitive staff. Talent can only go so far, especially the defensive coordinator. Salute to your Marine Corps. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I think you made a valid point. I think if Adrian Crook was in the building, Adrian Crook agree with you 100%. But I think my personal opinion, I don't think it's a reflection on the university or Graves. I think more than anything, I think it's a reflection of the day and age we living in. Because I can't think of which JSU player it was. It wasn't Miller. It was one of the offensive linemen. And then another player that was like a freshman and a pretty good player this season. Like, he jumped in the portal, but I don't know if he had interest from other teams. And basically, he was like, hey, look at my game footage. And he posting the stats and stuff. I'm like, dude, for you to jump in the portal, if teams have not already been reaching out to you and showing interest in you and you have a soft place to land, like, why jump in the portal? Like, to me, if he's not being advised to jump in the portal, I think it was like a irrational decision. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's I mean, I think you make a valid point, and JSU your squad, so you would know more like in depth like type stuff about him since you follow him all the time more so than I do. I look at JSU from a Southern University perspective, but if I'm a JSU fan, like I wouldn't be worried from the standpoint of yeah we got 17 players in the portal, like it's a bad look. I don't think it's as bad as some people making it out to be. I mean that's my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? Russell Smith say 150K to 200K is a great price compared to the past OC and DC. Yeah, big facts. Darren Gaines 6417 salute. He said, "What are you hearing?" Excuse me. Ooh. He was saying, Coach, what are you hearing? But the coaching staff, well, from what I heard, the only coach that was uh like verified on my end was Donald Penn, the offensive line coach. And I know excuse me, some individuals might be, well, coach, who is Donald Penn? So excuse me. Oh my goodness. All right, Donald Penn. For those individuals that don't know, Donald Warpen is a former offensive tackle in the NFL who played 14 seasons. So basically, Donald Penn is a former offensive lineman that played for the Raiders. So to have Donald Penn as an offensive line coach, I think that says a lot about the quality of the coaches that he's gonna have on his coaching staff. Of course, he's gonna bring in a couple coaches. He done already brought in a couple coaches from Colorado, but I think overall, I think the staff is gonna be excellent staff. Russell Smith said, "Uh-oh, the first JSU fan has walked in." Russell Smith, boy, I'm not gonna lie, Jaguar Nation, y'all something else. You know what I'm saying? Brent Fox said, "On the move, but still support." Man, salute to my brother Brent Fox. Y'all go over to his channel, show him some love, show him some support. Also, uh, my brother Brent Fox. He been grinding, especially for y'all Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Man, y'all go to my brother Brent Fox channel and check it out. Jay Good said, bingo target. Your boy Jay said Donald Penn, Josh Covington, and Alex Ellis are the only confirmed names right now. All right. Your boy Jay said, I'm sorry, Joseph Davis said, your boy Jay, that doesn't seem to leave a lot to split among the rest of the staff. All right. Jay Good said, all of that can be monetized to bring additional streams that's definitely needed. Yeah, and Joe Town and I was talking about that. I mean, he was talking about the legacy aspect of it. And the crazy thing about it is, I got a couple family members in the chat that actually legitimately thought Jay Good and Joe Town was the same person. But the irony is, in this context, Jay Good played at Southern, Joe Town played at Louisville, but they had a lot of the same ideas in terms of how you rebuild your brand and how you can monetize it. So at the end of the day, it shows that they both have, you know, brilliant football minds, in terms of what Southern could do to capitalize and monetize, the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? Brent Fox said, is that Bay Area legend Big Joe Townsend? Yes, it's like a pimp named Slickback. You gotta say the whole thing. Yes, sir, Brent Fox. Your boy Jay said it. Will, don't worry, he built a high level staff off it. Joseph David. All right. Jay Good said his style as a player was actually a prototypical archetype of Southern University running backs, the great elite. Yeah, without question. I'm not gonna lie. Like, uh, NFL prototypes like Marshall Faulk, like Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Thurman Thomas. Those are like your prototypical Southern University running backs. Whether we talk, but for modern day SU fans, right now you talking about Trey Howlett and Barry Remo. But if you go back years, whether we talking about Lindsey Scott Sr., Melvin Williams Jr., Steve Warford, uh, Ryan Lewis, not so much Dan Lewis. Who else? I mean, man, I could think Gerald Holmes. I could think of so many Southern University running backs, that smallish third down type backs. So Jay Good, right? Like, he's the prototypical Southern University running back. You know what I'm saying? Russell Smith said we haven't been good since Dawson Odoms. We have to start all over. We are known for the dog day D. Yes, sir. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Southern really has been dog day D since maybe 95-ish, 97-ish. I think we've had some decent defensive teams, because even that SWAC championship team in 2013, I think it was a good defense. I don't think it was like Southern University dog day D, because even that 99 SWAC championship team, that wasn't dog day D to me. Definitely not the 02, 03 teams. They weren't dog day D. Even 04 really wasn't dog day D to me. So, yeah. Blackwater Bayou said, I know this might be off topic, but he said, can the human jukebox get some new uniforms? I mean, brand new design. I'm tired of seeing the S on the chest. Well, you know what they say, Blackwater Bayou, that S on the chest lets you know they're the best. But I'm not gonna lie, I agree with you. I think the thing that kind of at least kind of freshen it up a little bit, is, for a couple games of the season, you really don't need to wear the uniforms. Maybe you can wear, the jogging suits or the track suits or whatever. But that's a valid point, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, seeing the same uniform, for years, I agree with you. But the crazy thing about it, Blackwater Bayou, outside of my Southern University Facebook group, just me hinting about the football uniforms, like, I got dragged all over multiple Southern University Facebook groups, like, basically saying all the issues Southern got, like, why the F we talking about some football uniforms or changing the uniform. So I'm not gonna lie, Blackwater Bayou, I think on my channel, you might have some people that might agree with you and disagree with you. And I think that's the main thing I'm concerned about. As long as we respectfully agree and disagree, cool, because me and Big Joe don't agree on everything. Me and Jay Good don't agree on everything. Me and Jared Love Green don't agree on everything. Me and Brent Fox don't agree on everything. So, I'm not concerned about whether we agree or not, as long as we can respectfully disagree and respect and value each other's opinion. But I'm not gonna lie, I think Jaguar Nation has already shown that, hey, they could disrespectfully disagree with you, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know how that sentiment would be, how they would take to you saying, hey, we need to change the uniforms, but I'm gonna keep it a buck. Why not get another set of uniforms to just kind of change things up? I'm all for it, you know what I'm saying? Teacher Man 225, salute to you. He said Marshall and staff are on the recruiting trail. I'm hearing some good news. Yeah, big facts. I'm glad that everything working out, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Jay said Coach Faulk is recruiting real JUCO and high school talent, all state, all conference type of players. He's building the true program. I like to hear that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Kendrick Wicker said, I'm glad he brought up developing players. Graves and his staff didn't understand that. No, I'm not gonna lie. He was just trying to get a bunch of players out the portal and plug and play. Man, hey, in theory that sound good, but plug and play players is what got Terrence Graves fired, and it got James Cozy fired. So, of course, and speaking of James Cozy, from what I'm hearing, more than likely, it's kind of unofficial that for the most part, Quinn Gray is going to be the next head coach at FAMU. I don't know how accurate that is. I would take that with a grain of salt. But he went to FAMU. I mean, to me, I think it's kind of a slam dunk. But, we'll wait and see how things play out. You know what I'm saying? Your boy JC, it's hard to keep up with all the offers he's sending to players. I haven't seen anything like this ever. Hey, that's some good news, your boy G. Joseph David, has anyone told Marshall Faulk about the street committee? I'm not gonna lie, Joseph David. I was a member of the street committee myself. You know what I'm saying? From the perspective that I didn't always agree with Coach Richardson, and I'm like, hey, give you a little pushback, and Coach Richardson seemed like he didn't like the pushback. That's why we got the quote unquote infamous name, the street committee. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, clearly Joseph David been a diehard member like myself of Jaguar Nation for years, because he always bring up the street committee. Man, salute to Joseph David, you did. Jay Good got the got the drinks, in terms of the old hillside, Russell Smith, yeah, Casio Odell. He said, LOL. He said, nah, Coach JSU was crumbling dynasty. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, Casio Odell. Hey, you like the 10th SU person that said that in one of Southern University Facebook groups that I'm in, texted me that or whatever. And I ain't gonna lie, Adrian Cook. Man, Adrian Cook is all over all these HBCU Facebook groups. Man, hey, Adrian Cook out here acting a fool, you know what I'm saying? Man, salute to Adrian Cook, even though he ain't hit the building yet. Man, Cook been all over the place, bro. So yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, Casio Odell. You like the 10th person I've seen say that. Man, hey, JSU falling apart, Johnny Johnson, salute to you. He said, stay tuned. There's great things that are going on behind the scenes. Next few weeks, more information will come to light. Go Jags. Yes, sir, Johnny Johnson. I like to hear good information. I like the intel. Man, salute to my brother, Teldrin Leathers. You know, he was one of the individuals that was trying to protect Coach from Jaguar Nation that was attacking me and all these Southern University Facebook groups. Him and Adrian Cook and Merlin Alexis. But they couldn't stop him though. Man, salute to Tailgate Leathers. He said, "What up, coach?" Man, salute to your family. You know what I'm saying? Teacher man say Donald Penn is an offensive line coach. I believe a former Pro Bowler, 14 years in the NFL. Yeah. I don't already said that. Uh Darren Gaines said, who you're hearing is the OC and DC gonna be? Well, the last time I heard uh I heard Ryan Lewis Sr., but it seems like that's a no-go at this point. So I haven't heard any names or whatever. I mean, I heard a lot of names kicked around, but in terms of like an actual, like legitimate name, no, I really haven't heard anything. You know what I'm saying? Tails on Leather say Ricky Collins coming. That's what they're saying in the chat. So I think it's definitely a possibility. You know what I'm saying? I don't talked about Ricky Collins before. And in addition to that, like other members of Jaguar Nation that I rock with, they done brought up Ricky Collins before, but it seems like it's a possibility he could be coming to Southern. I would gladly take Ricky Collins at Southern. No two ways about it. If I told you anything else, Tailgate Leathers, I'd be lying to you. Your boy Jay say that's the rumor he's coming to play for Coach Faulk. Your boy Jay said apparently over 14 high-level players have already committed so far. Only one has went public, and that's Champ Davis. Okay. Tailgate Lather say, uh-oh. Russell Smith say, I'm impressed seeing Coach Falk at state championship games recruiting. Graves would have been at the concession stand buying chicken tenders. Man, Russell Smith. Man, y'all going ham on Graves. Tailgate Lather say, but remember, Bands and Dooley both noops. So I could see it from that point, but I disagree too. Odom's brought stability and discipline to this program. Yeah. Man, salute to my brother Jared Lovin Green. He said, what up, coach in chat? Of course, we definitely gonna talk about the Celebration Bowl on HBCU Fanatics. We're gonna talk about Coach Falk. We're gonna talk about JSU. We're gonna talk about James Coles. We're gonna talk about some other topics. So be certain to come over to my brother channel, Jared Lovin Green, Thursday for HBCU Fanatics, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Your boy Jay say Coach Falk offered 2 all-conference JUCO FBS bounce back wide receivers today. I think we will land them both. This man is putting on a recruit masterclass so far. All right. Jared Lovin Green said Donald Penn, former 3-time Pro Bowl offensive tackle. Okay. Jay Good say Lenore Tillery. Lenore Tillery the third is gonna be a running backs coach. I hope that's what he's referring to. Your boy Jay say the players he got out the portal in a few weeks will be interesting. Yeah, so the players he gonna get out the portal in the next few weeks, it will be interesting to see. Darren Gaines say if you got a quarterback in the SWAC, that's the first part of being a contender. Yeah, and I say this all the time, Darren Gaines. First, you need an elite level quarterback. Then you need some slob hogs up front, some elite level dogs up front on both sides of the ball. Then you need an elite level defense. Then after that, I think all the other chips will fall in place. You know what I'm saying? Jay Good said, this Champ Davis kid is pretty dynamic. Looks like a slot or a running back. All right. I like that. Steel Rain 219 salute. He said, yes, the football team needs to change the uniforms, look good, play good, look good, feel good, play good. Yeah, hey, I said the same thing, Steel Rain, but guess what? If you ask Jaguar Nation in all these different Facebook groups, basically, coach didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I was dumb as hell. Not only is it dumb as hell, the last thing we need to borrow is some damn uniforms. So, Still Rain, I'm glad you co-sign what I said. And I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. The pun was intended. As a former middle school head football coach, 1 year we won one game, both one game in football and one game in basketball. And the next season, my team was like, "Hey, coach, let's wear those uniforms, not those uniforms." I'm like, "Wow, we only won one game last year." They was like, "Coach, the one game we won, we was wearing them uniforms, so let's wear them uniforms." They said the same thing for football and basketball. Trust me, uniforms make a difference, despite what these individuals out here saying. You know what I'm saying? DCP SU Jag, salute to you. He said, "Why are we talking uniforms? Southern baseball, please bring back the Jaguar pinstripes." Yes, sir. Hey, I already know that Desmond Allen is definitely gonna have something to say about that. I agree with you, DCP SUJ. Jay Good said, "Boy in them streets." Oh yeah, he seemed like he getting it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? Your boy Jay said Jason Rollins has more of a chance than Ryan Lewis at this point, but we will have co-defensive coordinators apparently. I'm not gonna lie. One of my professors I saw at like the last I think the last Southern University home game from a distance. Uh, he was one of the business professors. I think he taught marketing 300 at Southern. He didn't like the concept of co-defensive coordinators because the reason he didn't like that concept was because he didn't like the chain of command aspect of it. He said one person got to be in charge. You can't have co-head coaches or co-principals. He didn't like the co-concept. So I'm not gonna lie, I agree with him. Having co-defensive coordinators, I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Adrian Crook, man, salute to Adrian Crook. I was talking about Crook earlier. I'm surprised he ain't on JSU helmet talking, but it's a crumbling dynasty in the chat. He said, yeah, Faulk working. Oh, big facts. Yeah, he definitely out here in them streets. You know what I'm saying? Jay Good said, when you were naming backs of that archetype. Russell Smith said, Coach, he said, do you know when the 2026 schedule will be released? He said, I need to get my plans together. He said, the only game I know about is we travel to Nickel State. Why? Man, I do not. Actually, I live closer to Nickel State than I do Southern. Well, officially, my house is in Southern. I mean, my house is in Baker, right around the corner from Southern. So I live in Baker, but I'm at my mom's house right now, and she lives closer to Nickel State. I do not want Southern to play Nickel State. You really gain nothing from it, in my personal opinion. To keep it a buck, I know they play. I know for certain they go to Bragg, they go to the Vet, they go to the University of Houston for a money game. I don't want to go to Nickel State, to be honest with you, but I'm gonna keep it a buck. I want to play some competition, but more than anything, for homecoming, I need a D2 school that's gonna lay down and get the brakes beat off them. Maybe for the Pete Richardson Classic, you could play against Lincoln. For homecoming, you could play against Lane, and you could fill out the rest of your schedule after that. Adrian Cook said, "LOL." He said, "Man, we don't want Pete Blueback." LOL. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Adrian Cook, one of them cats. They're like, "Man, we don't want them old ugly ass uniforms from the Pete Richardson era." Well, get a new design and Cook. That's cool. He said, "New era." Yeah, all right, that's cool. Your boy Jay said, if Byron Leftwich is the OC, Southern will average 40 points a game. Yeah. Russell Smith said, Adrian Cook has touchdown. Already know. Adrian Cook said, we act like we didn't fire our beloved Pete at the end. Well, you got to realize, Adrian Cook, just like Marino Chasm, just like Eddie Robinson, the game passed Pete Richardson by at the end, Adrian Cook. So, yeah, Pete Richardson was fired, but the game passed him by. Your last game in A.W. Mumford Stadium, the field was eventually named after you. You had the ball on a 50-yard line with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, and basically you run a spread no huddle offense, and it took you forever to get downfield, and you still didn't score a touchdown to beat PV and allow Henry Frazier III win the SWAC championship for Prairie View. So yeah, he was fired. Uh, Adrian Crook say Rams blue and gold, baby. LOL. Hell no, Crook. You my dog, Crook, but I strongly disagree with that. Hell no. Jay Good say same way Eddie Robb got packed up. Crook. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I literally in real time. Certain coaches in my lifetime, I watched literally the game passing by. I watch it happen to Tom Landry. I watch it happen to Don Shula. I watch it happen with Marino Chasm. I watch it happen with Pete Richardson. I watch it happen definitely with Eddie Robinson. But like a lot of people were saying, they think Eddie Robinson was a little senile before the game passing by. You know what I'm saying? So, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Russell Smith said, "Me too. I live in Vacherie. I don't want to play nickels, but seeing it a few years ago, home and home, man, I'm not gonna lie, man. You got the brakes beat off you by Nichols at AW. If you don't go down there to John Gidry Stadium and beat Nichols, I'm gonna say 56-0. To me, is an L in my book. Beat the brakes off him. I want you to beat the brakes, the rotors, the tires, and the drums off of Nichols State. You know what I'm saying? Your boy Jay say, he said, if all the rumors I'm hearing True Southern has a huge chance of beating McNeese and Nickel State. Oh shit, they play McNeese too. Like P. Richardson said, y'all might as well join the Southern Conference. uh, Adrian Crook said, so let's pass the blue by. LOL. And, Adrian Crook said, I'm a Pete boy. Yeah, I know you're playing for Pete, but I'm gonna keep it a buck. You know, Columbia Blue. If you want new designs, cool. If you want to keep the same uniforms, cool. But some kind of way, we got to monetize this Adrian Crook. We got to generate multiple streams of income. You know what I'm saying? Jay Good said, you will get escorted up out the club if you overstay your stay. Oh, yeah, big facts. Big facts, Jay Good. Adrian Cook said, Coach, for the record, the blue we wear now is school colors. We missing old-fashioned gold. All right, all right. Not yellow. Yeah, all right then. All right, Crook. I got you. I got you. But I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see, what the uniforms look like. Will he change the uniforms at all? Will he keep them the same? Will he keep them the same? Will he change them? So time will tell. But I like everything I'm hearing from a recruit standpoint. And I'm surprised Adrian Cook didn't say JSU is a crumbling dynasty. But if I was JSU fans, I would be worried about having 17 players in the transfer portal. But from a Southern University perspective, it seems as if the chat has pretty much determined that hiring Marshall Faulk was a great idea. And, hopefully, Jaguar Nation, my goal for next season, I'll say it's a good 7 wins. But, we're going to see how things play out. Adrian Cook said, that yellow looks like mustard. Okay. Russell Smith said, Coach, we play Northwestern State. Again, I believe we can win in the future. Man, I'm not going to lie. To me, I think if you play one solid conference team, that's enough. I don't need to play Northwestern, Nicholls State, and McNeese State in the same season. Like P. Richardson said, he said, hell, if that's the case, let's join the solid conference. We ain't joining no damn solid conference, you did. Your boy Jay said, this isn't good old homeboy Southern anymore. He said they can legit beat the next year. He said, if everything goes according to rumors. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Your boy G. Somebody sent me a message behind the scenes basically saying, Coach, I told this to Jay Good, and Jay Good was like, Coach, he was like, we just have to have a wait and see approach. Somebody told me this, your boy Jay. They said, Coach, I can't tell you everything I done heard, but he was like, basically, he said somebody told me that Southern basically is gonna be able to beat every HBCU football team by 40. He said including South Carolina State, Prairie View, and Jackson State. And I'm like, hold up, bro. Like, pump your brakes. Like, let's have a wait and see approach. So I'm not gonna lie, your boy G, like the rumors are rampant. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. The players he offering, I'm liking the offers he's putting out there. I'm liking everything I'm hearing. And on the surface right now, it seems like not just a decent hire, a good hire. It seems like a phenomenal hire, and he's gonna be worth every penny. Well, we still gotta pump our brakes. For this individual to tell me that Southern is gonna be able to beat every other HBCU football team by 40 next season. Hey, bro, hey. I gotta see it. SU Jaguar 98, salute to you. He said, "What's up, gang?" He said, "What's up, gang?" He said, "Damn, I gotta handle something when you going live again." I'm going live again on Saturday. SU Jaguar 98. Saturday. I think I might hit y'all with a double header on Saturday. Uh I'm gonna do a 1K celebration that morning, and then at night, I'm gonna have another edition of Bayou Sports Talk. As long as I could get K to come on with me, then we're gonna do another edition of Bayou Sports Talk. Kendrick Wicker said, we play at Nichols. Yeah, from what I'm understanding, Nichols State and Thibodeau. That's what they're saying in the chat. I was unaware. I'm not a big fan of playing Southern Conference teams. I'd rather play MEAC teams before I play Southern Conference teams. That's just my personal opinion. Uh, Adrian Cook said, by 40, LOL, damn. Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing about it. Like, I know that's a whole old JSU expression, but basically he was like, man, hey, we're going to be to beat PV by 40, JSU by 40, uh, uh, South Carolina State, Delaware State. I'm like, man, hey, bro. Like, hey, I don't know. And yeah, me and Jay Gill say the same thing. Gotta relax. So, I mean, the rumors are rampant at this point in the season. Like, it's the off season. Like, news is slow. So, yeah, I'm not willing to just jump out the window yet. I just want to have a wait and see approach. That's why I want a couple Division II schools on my schedule. Hey, if I told you anything else, I'd be lying to you. Russell Smith said, Coach, my goal is to win the whole damn thing next year. He said, like Pete did back in 93. He turned that SU around in 1 year. But I'm not going to lie, Russell Smith, this is the thing you got to realize. Coach Richardson didn't inherit a historically bad team, for one. And then second of all, you got to realize Gerald Kimball and Marino Chasm actually had talent on those teams. They might not have been able to put it together the way Pete Richardson did, but those teams actually had talent. I mean, you had Alden Foster, you had Lindsey Scott Sr., you had Eric Randall, who played as a freshman the year before. So, and then defensively, you got, people like the late great Sean Wallace. I mean, that team was loaded. So yeah, Coach Richardson, he turned it around, but it was a talent-rich team, and you had a senior-heavy team, and even those players that weren't seniors had a lot of playing experience. And then you got to realize that next year they went 6-5, and then they won the SWAC championship the following year. So he did turn it around in 1 year, but he didn't inherit a team that was historically bad. Your boy Jay said about 40. He said, I don't know about that, LOL, but we can definitely beat them. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. My point, your boy Jay, is, with him sending me this message via social media, he hearing a lot of stuff too. So that's why I'm saying my approach is a wait and see approach. You know what I'm saying? SU Jaguar 98, he said, I got some good info, but I can't say nothing. He said, I'm gonna lose my source. Well, this person, he didn't divulge any like pertinent information. He didn't divulge any intel. Basically, SU Jaguar 98, he just was saying based on what he was hearing behind the scenes, like he was like Southern is gonna be loaded next year, and Southern gonna be do big things. And I'm like, brother, it could be true. I need to see with my own eyes. I don't want to hear rumors because I'm not gonna lie. This past spring, Terrence Graves and Mark Frederick and Henry Miller and their whole staff had me gassed up. And look how it ended. So that's why I'm cautiously optimistic, and that's why I have a wait and see approach. Your boy Jay said SU board meeting will be live tomorrow. He said I expect Coach Faulk to be there because they will be telling the world about his contract. Okay. SU Jag 98. He said, okay, cool. He said, I'm gonna catch you then. Yes, sir. Jay Good got the emoji. Uh Derek Banks, 5630. Salute to your family. Say hello. Adrian Crook said that NIL budget must be real. Yeah, I hope so. But I mean, Adrian Crook, though, like I said, I think they need to put out a Marshall Faulk 28 jersey, maybe a Nias Williams jersey, a Harry Carmichael jersey, a Mel Blount jersey, a Jatari Carter jersey, a Danny Johnson jersey. Like they need to get I mean, don't get me wrong, from what I'm hearing, they say Roman Banks is doing an excellent job raising money, so on and so forth. But you need to generate multiple streams of income. You need to have uh, a NIL collective and the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? Jay Good said people was hyped last spring, high expectations, world beaters on paper. Fall came historically terrible. I just said the exact same thing, Jay Good, and basically that's the conversation that you and I had behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Darren Gaines said, "Do you think Trey Holly going to stay?" From what I'm hearing about his case and his whole situation, I don't know, but from what I'm hearing, they say yeah, he's gonna be back next year. At least from what I was told. You know what I'm saying? Joseph Davis said, with all these scholarship offers, he said, is Coach Falk asking certain players to consider other options? Well, I'm not gonna lie. I think based on what we've seen already, I think you already got a few players that hit the portal. Zay Franks and Darren Morris. So yeah, that's what it looked like. Your boy Jay said people was hyped last spring. He said I wasn't. LOL. I watched Graves barely recruit at all. It was mind blowing. But I'm not gonna lie though, your boy Jay. I fell for it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like he had me, gassed up. Derek Banks said so true. Yeah, I was gassed up. I ain't gonna even lie. If I told y'all anything else, I'd be lying to you. Russell Smith said, I'm actually shocked Holly hasn't hit the portal yet. I'm feeling good about him staying. Yeah, me too. Desmond Allen said, I don't want to know. I just want to see it in the spring. No, I'm not even gonna lie, Desmond Allen. I don't even want to see it in the spring. I want to see it on the fall. I want to see it on the field. Because guess what? I got clips, spring clips from this past spring. And guess what? They look good in the spring to me. They didn't look good in the fall. So I didn't want to see it in the spring. I want to see it in the fall. You know what I'm saying? Your boy Jay said that clip of Graves last spring on Carlos Brown's show saying he isn't recruiting. He's resting is a nightmare in my head. LOL. uh, Adrian Cook said, I heard a couple million as of now. Dang. Russell Smith said, we need Leonard Tillery jersey. That man is the all-time swag leading rusher. Yeah, big facts. Tillery too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just was throwing guys that's currently uh formerly in the NFL, but yeah, Leonard Tillery, big facts. Derek Banks said we was all fools. Yeah, big facts. I'm not gonna lie. If I told you anything else, Derek Banks, I'd be lying. I mean, don't get me wrong. People that know me in real life, when I get to talking about years and games I done picked correctly. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I ain't gonna sit here and cap and lie like I ain't never been wrong. I done been wrong, but I can tell you one thing. I done been right way more than I done been wrong. Jay Good said, yeah, he said season tells the truth. Derek Banks said, what about the coaching staff? Yeah, we kind of talked about it. We talked about Donald Penn. We talked about a couple of coaches that's gonna be on the staff, but I'm not gonna even lie. I'm not just waiting for a couple coaches. I'm waiting for all the coaches to be officially announced. But we talked about the coaching staff earlier in the show. Derek Banks, uh, Roderick Morris, salute to you. He said, but we was going off the season before, but now Faulk is here, so he has no pressure. You can't get any worse. Well, that's true too, but I'm gonna be honest with you though, Roderick Morris. You gonna always have members of Jaguar Nation that gonna believe that Southern should win the Celebration Bowl every year, win the SWAC championship every year. Just like you got members of across town that believe that LSU should be in the playoffs every year and should win the national championships every year. So be national champions every year. So, you know, I mean, my whole thing is I just have a wait and see approach. After this past season, I'm tempering my expectations. Your boy Jay said I had sources last spring, and some are telling me we were lucky to win 3 games. They don't look good in practice. I didn't want to believe it, but man, it was true. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I had a friend, like the same person that talked about the 90 plan. And the irony is, the 90 plan he talked about, Southern actually hired Marshall Faulk. Now, is Marshall Faulk gonna make Fred McNair his quarterback coach and his senior advisor, assistant head coach? That remains to be seen. But like literally, that person that told me about the 90 plan, and I talked about the 90 plan on my channel, and Southern ended up hiring Marshall Faulk. That individual told me the same thing, your boy Jay. He said, man, Southern is not gonna be that good. I'm like, dude, you tripping. I'm like, Southern went to the SWAC championship last year. He was like, Coach, I promise you, he told me this. He said, Coach, a house that's built on a solid foundation is gonna be solid. He said a house that's built on sand is not gonna stand. He said that was fool's gold. He said Southern house is built on sand, and he one of these individuals that kind of behind the scenes telling me, he was like, man, all of these people that saying Jackson State crumbling, he's like, I'm telling you, he said Jackson State built on a solid foundation. He was like, even if they have a losing season, he said they ain't gonna fall apart. He was like, trust me. So he said then that he felt like Southern going to the SWAC championship game was fool's gold. I'm like, dang, bro. So that's his opinion. Like he a real high school football coach. He a football guy. And that's kind of like his perspective and his opinion. Uh your boy Jay said coaches should be announced after tomorrow board session. Yeah, I hope so. Jay Good said Dallas Cowboys fan mentality. He said Cowboy homers. Yeah, I feel you, Jay Good. Russell Smith said any true SU football fan could have seen the fall Graves after the 24th season. He said we only got to the SWAC championship because of the weak West. Yeah. But I'm not gonna lie to Russell Smith. I still was drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not even gonna lie. If I told you anything else, Russell Smith, I'd be lying to you. Dang, it's 5 minutes to 10 already. So I'm getting ready to shut down this live stream. Remember, on Thursday, I'm gonna be on my brother Jared 11 Green channel. We're gonna have the latest installment of HBCU Fanatics. Also, Saturday, the plan is to have 2 live streams, a morning stream to celebrate the 1,000 subscribers. I'm gonna invite, Jay Good, Big Joe Town, my brother Jared 11 Green, Brent Fox, 7A Sports TV, all the family members of the LDBC. Try to get a couple other people on. And later on that evening, I plan on having another edition of Bayou Sports Talk with Ken and myself. I appreciate everybody that came through, that showed love. That's the reason why this channel has hit 1,000 subscribers. Russell Smith, Jay Good, your boy Jay, my brother Big Joe Townsend, and Old Hillside Bourbon Company for sponsoring the first segment on this show. First sponsor, Roderick Morris, Derek Banks, Adrian Crook, your boy Jay, Desmond Allen, Joseph David, Darren Gaines, uh, SU Jaguar 98, Cassio Odell, Kendrick Wicker, Motivation to Be a Millionaire, Relaxing Calm Rain, Sonic Boom C98, uh, DCP, SU Jag, Steel Rain. I appreciate everybody that came through, that showed love, everybody that's gonna watch it on playback. Remember, my brother Jared 11 Green channel on Thursday, HBCU Fanatics. Saturday, 2 live streams. Morning stream for the 1,000 subscriber celebration. That evening stream, another edition of Bayou Sports Talk. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Major salute to Joseph David. Everybody that came through, show love. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal evening. Peace and blessings to the family. And go Jags, you dig?